We're with Ashley Wolk, a senior tri-captain on the Eastern Women's Lacrosse team. The Warriors getting ready to open up their season. Ashley, before we start talking about the upcoming year, let's talk a little bit about last year. A phenomenal finish, correct?
Yes, it was fantastic.
Probably the worst regular season the team has ever had. You lose to Western by about 9 goals. A week later, in the final regular season game, a week later you turn it around, you beat them easily in the first round of the tournament. Then you go on the road and you beat 2 higher seeds to win the tournament. Is that one of the best things that you've been involved in?
I would have to say yes, it is by far one of the best things I've been involved in. We were such a strong team throughout the whole season, but we just couldn't pull together to win the games. And obviously there are other things that are important, but winning is obviously where you have to come up on top. And ending the season being LEC champions was absolutely unexpected, and it was phenomenal.
Well, can you put your finger on it? You know, so some teams at the end of the year, some teams at the end of the regular season would have been so demoralized they would have just said, "Let's go out play. You know, we'll lose the end of the season." Mm-hmm. What was there something that really turned the team around after the Western regular season game?
I think it was just that we had nothing to lose, and we had been so upset about all the losses we had been going throughout the season. And I think once playoffs came along, all of the individual talent, you know, Daniela Marquito, Rachel Miotti, such strong seniors that we had, it came together and we were a team. And we flowed better, and you could tell if you were in the stands watching that Western game after losing and then coming back and beating them, it was a whole new team. And I think what it mainly was is that we stopped playing individually and we came together and fed off of each other to win.
But how does that happen in such a short period of time? You know what I mean?
Right.
Was there something after that Western game? Was there a team meeting or anything that just said, "Hey, we got to get our act together," or did you guys just go with it?
Yes, there was. There was a team meeting. I wouldn't even call it a meeting. Our coach called off practice after that loss, and we sat, I'll never forget, in the middle of the turf, the whole team in a circle, and we each went around and said what was bothering us the most and what we wanted to work on, and it got really emotional. A bunch of people broke down into tears, and I think it brought us together and made us so much stronger, because that disconnect that had been there throughout the entirety of the season, I think just was gone when we came back and played again.
People, I don't want to belabor this point, but someone, I think Daniela had mentioned that there was some technical changes in the team. Defensively, some work with that. Do you know anything about that?
I know that my coach had tried to switch some positions and try different techniques on defense, and I'm not sure I'm sure that contributed to why we were successful overall, but I think that the technicality of it wasn't necessarily the biggest factor to our wins. I think it was really the morale of our team and really coming together and helping each other instead of just trying to help ourselves.
Well, was there any point in that playoff, those 3 playoff games, was there any point where you guys looked at each other and said, you know, we can win this thing?
Yeah, there was. I think it was that Western game, but I know when we beat the #1 seed, Plymouth State University, at their field, at their home, and we beat them, I think, by 3 goals.
Yeah.
I remember looking over, we were all together and just saying, oh my God, we can win an LEC championship, and we're going to win it. We're going to win.
You had gone too far to go to Southern Maine in the finals and lose. There's no way that was going to happen.
There was no way. And everybody, it was electric, you know, you could feel it. And once we beat Western, it really, in the playoffs, it put us in motion. But once we beat Plymouth, I think it was like we were all so, desperate to, like, we wanted it so bad. We wanted it more than anybody in the conference, for sure.
Well, Southern Maine just ran into a buzzsaw. Southern Maine never really had a chance.
No.
You know. Let's turn our attention a little bit to this year. You guys have lost. Let me ask you this: you guys are getting ready for your season opener. How did the preseason go?
Preseason went well. it was really difficult to transition from obviously such a high to losing a significant amount of players, both defensively, midfield, and offensively. We got hit on triple. So fall ball was optimistic to say. I'm not quite sure if that's the right word, but I know that all the upperclassmen still had a really positive outlook, despite losing people and gaining, I think it's 13 freshmen, 12 freshmen. But we had our Springfield tournament that we have every fall at the end of our fall ball season, and we play multiple teams at this tournament, and we weren't successful. We had lost more than we'd won that day, but our wins were really strong, and we stayed with the teams. The competition's very high at this tournament. But regardless, I think that in the fall, meeting all these new girls, trying to have us all mesh together was difficult, but not really, because we have an incredible group of underclassmen. We really do.
Very talented. Very
talented, very positive. They mesh with us well, who are 4-year returners, 3-year returners, and I'm really confident in what they're able to do this season. There's serious potential.
Well, as a senior captain, do you see a real need on this team for a lot of really good leadership among the seniors?
Definitely, yeah.
Talk about the other captains.
Yeah, myself and Finley Ahern and Aaron Kahn are the other two senior captains, and our coach has tried to drive this point that the leadership has to be strong. There's no other option this year because of the amount of young players that we have. But what I've seen is that Eastern women's lacrosse has a lot of self-discipline, and we tried to tell them that coming in, being a part of our team. So, they have to try, they have to want it, they have to go that extra limit, at the extra push, and they have thus far.
So basically what you're trying to say to them is just so much can come from the captains, and you have to be sort of self-motivated.
Exactly.
That's sort of what you're saying to the younger people?
Definitely.
Well, do you see more teaching this year in preseason, from last year as your junior year? It was a veteran team. Is there more time to teach the new people? Is that more part of practice, the teaching aspect?
Coach is really all 4 years has been really into teaching us correct form, correct plays, and etc. And honestly, there hasn't been that much more additional teaching.
Right.
Because, like I said, these freshmen are very keen, they're very aware of the game already. So I think, yes, there has been a lot of teaching, but it's just how we play versus how they've grown up playing. Learning new plays, learning our clears, etc. So.
Well, do you see a couple of the? It looks like with losing 7 starters, it looks like you're going to have to at least 4 or 5 of these new people are going to have to start right off the bat.
Yes, our first game is today actually at Springfield College, and I don't even know the starting lineup yet. It's going to be really interesting to see what Coach wants, where she wants people to go. I think my position is going to change as well, and it's going to be interesting to see what these freshmen can do. Because it's inevitable. There are going to be a few of them in there. So.
Where do you think the scoring is going to come from this year? Who will be the top scorers as far as you could tell? Is that just wide open?
Well, Aaron Kahn is always a strong, very strong offensive player, and one of the best I've ever seen. And it's really cool because I think that a lot of the scoring is going to come from midfield this year, because these new players are very versatile and very agile, so a lot of them play very good defense. They're still new to our defense, but very good defense and offense. So in practice, you see a lot of different people scoring. So I'm not really quite sure. I know Aaron Kahn will be up there. I mean, probably top scorer, but.
Well, it could even be better if it's more spread out, right? Then the defense can't really focus on one person.
Right, I think so. It works out really well in practice in terms of competition. It's even. So.
Well, talk a little bit about, you got a new goalie. Haley Heslin had an outstanding Little East tournament last year. She's not back. Goalie position always so important. Talk about the new goalies.
Taylor Emerson is one of the sweetest girls I've ever met. But you put her in between the posts, and that girl a fire light under her because she is aggressive, she is feisty, she's smart, and she loves feedback from all of us. And coach, she wants us to tell us what she needs to work on. And she's not a hothead, because many goalies are, and just because their position is so stressful and demanding. But Taylor Emerson she's a freshman, and she is so talented. There's so much raw talent there. And I only expect greatness from her in the 4 years that hopefully she'll continue to play. What I've seen from her, I've only played one competitive day with her, and that was that Springfield tournament, and she still showed phenomenal skills in that tournament.
Well, if she can turn out to be really solid in goal, then maybe you win games 8-6. You know, maybe you don't have to win them 19-17.
Right.
Right?
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Who will be the person taking the draws this year?
There's a few of us. Erin Kahn usually does, but also myself. Devin Duran is another freshman who is looking like she's going to be probably a defensive wing, maybe low defender, but she's got legs. That girl can run. So I would say probably D-wing, but she took a few of the draws at Springfield, and she was really good. She's a really, really strong player already. It's Karen Trescott as well as I think she also took a couple of draws. So there's a few different players, which is good, because if one person isn't working and isn't getting the ball, then it's great to have substitutes who can come in and still get the job done. It's
such an important aspect of the game, right? Because that could give you anywhere between 5 and 10 additional offensive chances if you can win the majority of your draws, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Defense and draw control are one of the two main things that win lacrosse games strategically.
Well, you talked about you getting ready to open up your season at Springfield College. Have you guys gotten outside as much as you'd like to? Because the weather's been so crazy this winter, spring.
Yeah, it's been crazy. Not really. The turf has been pretty much covered in ice and snow. But, if there's that one strip down the turf, we're out there running. And but we've worked in the gym a lot, and Plymouth State, they're mandatory inside for 6 weeks. And the beginning, other teams who are very talented work with what they've got, and that's exactly what we've done. So.
Last question, Ashley. What would make, from your standpoint, team standpoint, what would make for a really rewarding final season? Does it have to be a championship?
For me, I would like that championship. But I have faith and I believe in my fellow teammates and the team that we have right now that we could win. But I think that as long as there's at least improvement and there's constant effort and driving and everyone giving 150%, walking off the field with nothing left, that's all I can ask for. All I can ask for is everybody to give their everything. And if they do, I think we will be ultimately successful. So what I want as a senior captain and my final lacrosse season is to be successful. And that doesn't always mean winning, but as long as we do well.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Warriors are going to open up. They're going to be at Springfield College opening up. Actually a really tough opening couple of weeks for the Warriors. They play teams like MIT in the opening. They're going to Springfield, so it could be a tough couple of weeks before the Warriors end up going down to Hilton Head. They're going to be playing Ramapo College and Worcester State down there. The Warriors are supposed to be opening up on Saturday, March 8th against Tufts University, and that will be a 3 o'clock game. Ashley, thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.